Arknights is one of the best gacha games I've ever played, and probably ever will. I've been in love with the game and the community since the very first moment. But even though I've soon been playing for over 3 years, there's one thing I've never done before. Researching the past of Arknights. Looking at what the future brings, lets us forget what happened in the past. So I set myself the goal to present to you the history of Arknights. But well, if you looked at the title, you know this is not this video. While I was researching its past, I found various things that were so intriguing that I just had to make a separate video about them. And so with that, let me present to you the official Arknights global launch. September 2017. Set sail. This was the first announcement of the game for the global server. There is really not much to say about this tweet, but what I found interesting is the words they choose. Set sail is not something that resonates that well with Arknights. Maybe they had a certain thought about it, or it was the best thing they were able to come up with. Already there, the global announcements were lacking behind the Chinese ones. And because of that, on Twitter you were able to see a lot of unannounced stuff, and so at the very next day, on Twitter we saw screenshots of chibis, gameplay footage and much more. But now let's look at the chibis first. It starts off with Shirayuki. We all know our lovely white girl and we love her design, but she looked completely different when she was first announced. She has gotten one of the biggest redesigns out of all. Different clothes, another facial expression, a different hair design make her look like a different character. I love the new design, but there is something about the old design which I really like. Spectre and Texas stayed the same, and Null only got a little pattern on her skirt, which I also think was a good decision. Before that it looked a little bit plain. But for example for Ifrit, she got a minor change. Especially at her eyes. She used to have like rainbow colored eyes, which is fine, but now with the one colored style I kinda like it more this way. And also her design in general, it just feels like a lot brighter today than it used to be. Estelle is next, and one thing is very intriguing. She looks a lot wilder in the old chibi, but what I noticed is that she has a scar in the new design. Okay, I went to check the E1 art and saw she has a scar there as well. But when I checked the E2 art, the scar was gone. I don't know what the reason for this could be, but probably Hypergriff wanted to add the scar, but the E2 art has probably already been drawn. Anyway, Meteor did get a slightly different haircut. Not sure what they had against the wild looking style, but I kinda like Meteor's and Estelle's old design more. Next up is Astasia. At least I can only assume it was the original design intended for her. Wait a second. Isn't this a character that just got released a few months ago on CN server and is not even out on global? As Jean. I don't know if they just redesigned Astasia or always had in mind to release her sister, but it's quite insane to think about that she got released after 5 years after her creation. This kinda blew my mind when I first saw it. Anyway, those were all the chibis we were able to compare with their picture. For the next few days, characters were introduced with a little PV. Since it wasn't on Twitter, I wasn't able to get all of them, but I was able to find a few. You can clearly see the style they announced is still very much the same after 5 years. Admittedly though, they got a lot better since then. I especially love how they announced the characters on Twitter. The pictures look super clean. Also a shout out to Iligo CI for being the first English person I was able to find to admit Arknights' character's design was amazing. Over the next 1 to 2 months, multiple screenshots surfaced from various websites, some more interesting than others. I had a rough time to find out which one were official and which one were just fan art. So there is a chance the pictures I'm showing right now were not official, but I tried my best to sort them out. One I thought is quite cool to know is that the first chapter was originally called Eye for an Eye and was changed to Evil Time. And chapter 2 changed from Veil of Ignorance to Separated Hearts. Maybe it's just me, but for both instances, I prefer the earlier name. Anyway, what would be an analysis of the past without the ever first screenshot of the UI? This is how it looked at the 30th of August in 2017. The main structure stayed the same, but wow. Let's start at the top right. Don't be tricked by the 12k LMD. They might look broke until you realize they have 12k Arknight primes as well. Even though the stamina thing stayed the same, the stage's name is Op21, which has now been changed to 1.7 for example, is definitely a big upgrade. Squad and operators have also survived to this day, but they have switched sides. Store and recruitment is also still at the very same place, but in recruitments you were also able to see the time you need until the recruitment was finished, and this makes a lot of sense if there's only one recruitment you can do. But now for this one, I have no damn clue what that was supposed to be. Translating it, it gives me the name Infrastructure. And the timer is for Building Command Center. Not sure what this was about, since I would have assumed the one on the right, which is called Storehouse, is the base. You were even able to see the drones that you currently have. On the left side we have tasks and friends, but there are two additional ones, which I can't really sort out what they might be. All in all, it is still very much the same to this day, even the damn background. 2 months of announcing stuff have passed, and then a legendary thing was tweeted out by Hypergriff. 25th of November 2017, Arknights Awakening. Test beta tester invitation. It was time for a beta test. Thanks to this, we can truly see how the game was 5 years ago. The only thing I need is to find someone that has footage from that period, which also would allow me to use it. And this is where I rediscovered Steparu's channel. Thank you so much for allowing me to use your high quality footage. Make sure to check them out as well. And thanks to him, I had now access to the very first recorded footage of Arknights. December 4th, beta has started. Steparu uploaded a video called Arknights Gameplay Alpha Test. I remember watching this when I started playing Arknights, and boy, there is a lot to talk about in this video. The UI already got a small redesign, and you were now able to use Arknight Prime for refreshes. It does look a lot cleaner now as well. The stages also have better names, 1.1, 1.2 and so on. I am also a huge fan of the old maps displays. It's very simple, and you can see all the enemies and placements in one frame. It doesn't look as clean as the current one, but I still kinda like the old one as well. And now it's time for squad. How does it look like? I can already say that, wow, that ain't that bad. It has some style, but talking about style, I need that Cherokee out in the game. It just looks so good. You were even able to lock your characters. Don't ask me for what purpose, but you were able to do so. You can also see that you were only able to bring 10 operators. And by the way, Fang is a guard. But now let's zoom in on Province. Can you see something weird? She's a 4-star. Every single operator is 1 star lower. So 6 stars like Hoshi were actually 5 stars during that time. Just looking at this just feels kinda weird to me. But not gonna lie, I would like to see a comeback for this operator selection theme. It looks really good. But now it's time for starting the battle. We're starting with LS4, and we're ready to deploy Doberman. She might be a guard, but it makes sense to deploy her first, right? I mean, she does have a Vanguard ability. Wait, what? Okay, never mind. In that case, we're gonna place Fang next. She's a Vanguard, right? Okay, why does Fang not have any abilities? That's interesting. Well, nice. Anyway, it seems like they changed a lot of things regarding the abilities. After watching and researching for hours, I wasn't able to find signs of Vanguard being a thing. Even Texas in the announcement picture had the guard logo. It is definitely a good thing that they added Vanguards. Also, did you spot the imposter? It seems like you were able to bring as many operators of the same unit to the battle as you wanted. So with that, you were able to bring as many cruisers as you wanted. Just imagine being able to bring 3 Surters. The game wouldn't be a challenge anymore. Looking at the GBs, we can also see again a lot of changes. Amiya's hair was a lot longer, and just in general, everyone looks a lot more wild and cuter in my opinion. I know it's a me thing, but I really like how they looked. But operators are not the only thing that has changed. Some enemies having different walking animations, and also Big Bob used to be a normal enemy. Just imagine 10 Big Bobs running at you with the stats that he has currently in our version. That would certainly be a fun fight. Looking at another battle, we can see the sprites for many other characters. And not just that, do you see how many units were placed? In total 10. A deployment limit wasn't a thing back then, so summoners were truly broken, since no one is stopping you from placing everything at the same time. The materials also look really different. I don't even know what most of these things are. Well, let's just collect our free-to-play Texas. But Texas is not the only operator that was free to play during that time. The beautiful Chen used to be a 4-star, and you were able to get potential upgrades by just playing the story. That could have saved a lot of money for the people that pulled on the Chen banner. But now, let's take a look at our characters. Everything looks already very clean. Steparu decided to upgrade Siege. Decent decision. But again, what the fuck are those mats? I have no damn clue what they could be. But Steparu didn't stop there. He also upgraded another few characters so you can see how they looked in the past. And you can see it's pretty much the same. Since Arknights is a gacha game, we obviously want to see how the old summoning animation looked like. And I really don't know which one I like more. The new one is great, but the old one is also super fancy. Both would totally deserve a spot in the game. But they did change one thing that we should all be grateful about. Imagine having to spend 19,500 LMD for one recruitment. We are already broke as fuck, but imagine if we would also have to spend that much. We wouldn't be able to invest in anything. Steparu continued to upload gameplay of Arknights, even for the second closed beta. This was in July 2018, and Arknights was looking more and more like the game we know today. Not just the UI has started to look more familiar, but also the mats. Scouting through the footage, I found 2 characters that were really interesting to me. The first one is Mei, since she wasn't released when the game finally came out. They waited until the Code of Brawl event, which was in May. And I respect that decision. I am very sure they didn't release Mei in May because of Mei, but it may be that they just want to have Mei be released in May. The second one that caught me off guard is Conviction. On Global, we didn't got them until the 1st of April 2021. Quite a long time to be honest for a character that was finished in 2018. Important to note here is that even in the closed beta, none of the characters had a voice actor yet. There's still a ton of things that were different, like for example the W stage, it was completely changed. Or for example the stage informations, having a second design that was unknown to me, or just having to fight Frostnova without any ice or snow, which just kinda looks weird. But also a lot of things have already been changed to what we know today, like for example the base, or the stage design in general. But with the second beta over, Arknights found itself in the final phase of developing, and everything was refined. And then finally, after 2 years and 4 months, after the first global announcement, Arknights Global was released on the 16th of January 2020. There are obviously smaller things I could be talking about, for example Chitano. Her original design was with the hoodie on all the time. Or maybe Cesith that her first concept drawing was cited in 2015. But I want to have one condensed, informative video with the things I consider most intriguing. Let me know the things that surprised you the most, or things I should have talked about as well. But with that said, I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and maybe share it in a random Discord, who knows, maybe someone else likes it. But with that said, all of you, thanks so much for watching, and I would say, have a nice one, and bye bye, have a good one, and see ya.